Hello, this is Dr. Roger Elmer, Advanced Neurospinal Solutions. I've been asked by a colleague to do some short videos on different aspects of biomechanics, particularly that are related to, in the clinic, what we do structurally changes the spine, the Pedibond system, or now what we call advanced Orthokinetics, which is the new term we're using. The structural changes that we make, we've already discussed the 3 tissues that we're trying to change over time, and we'll be spending some time on each one of those in some brief videos. Today I want to talk about flexion extension, looking at the spine in the sagittal plane. We are working to put that sagittal plane back together again the way it was designed to work. When you're born, you're in a flex position. We call it the fetal curve. That fetal curve needs to be improved upon. When you sit the baby down, they fold in half and fall over. They don't have lever arms within the spine that allow them to have the leverage factors to stand up against gravity. And so the configuration that we're going to create over time is going to have the ability to allow us to oppose gravity. That is strangely enough how we build our brain. Our brain gets stressed and pushed and developed, and the final act, the neocortex, happens because of the ability to stand up and the ability to talk. And so we'll get into that more when we talk about the extrapyramidal nervous system. But when we look at the spine from the side and the curved system it should have, we get it from when mom picks us up and puts us in the upright position, and we start to experience gravity. And as gravity pulls down on us, the vestibular nuclei start to get used to holding us in the upright position to create the tone of the muscles, and we'll go into more what that means. But that tone dictates our ability to be upright. When mom starts putting you on the hip, your head is going all over the place, and then after a while you change the tone, and that tone allows you to stand in a better posture. And then after a while she'll lean, and the baby leans with mom. And then after a while, even from that, they get the skill to, when mom leans, they lean in the opposite direction to counterbalance. Those are all skill levels. But the process of creating this, and in our case, as structural correction specialists, putting this back together is vital. And why should we have it? The curve system creates the levers and the lever system that allows us to have what's called force multipliers. We put a little force in, we get a lot of force out. It's a machine. And we've talked about that before. It also limits play. When the joints meet together the way they're supposed to, the joints, the shape of the joints and the ligaments themselves limit the play so that it won't have things happen that are bad, like collapse. Scoliosis is an evidence of postural collapse. So we must have this sagittal plane system to allow the system to function the way it's supposed to. That curved system is dependent upon the discs themselves and their shape. Not only the shape, but also their hydraulic properties. And the ligaments themselves become a part of the mechanical movement system, even though it's not animated like muscles are. The brain tells the muscles to move, and they move, but the ligaments don't get that kind of input. But when they're stressed, then they actually contribute to the movement factor, but also the retention of that system, the integrity of that system, so that it doesn't get injured. But this sagittal plane is why we're working to put those curves back. We want the curve in the lower back, we want the curve in the mid back, we want the curve in the neck. That also allows us to have no pressure on the spinal cord. We learned this from Alf Brigg. Alf Brigg was a neurosurgeon back in Sweden. He did a group of studies relating to, many of them were MS patients, terminally ill MS patients. Some of them were scoliosis, and he did a large group on cord injury patients and putting the curve back. And as he put the curve back in neurosurgically in the structure, the spinal cord was beginning to heal and reset, which supposedly wasn't able to happen. Well, that happened a little while ago, back in the late 70s and early 80s, and he did receive a Nobel Prize for it. Well, that's the foundation of why we do what we do, getting that curve in the neck and the curve proper in the mid-back and in the curve in the lower back, so that we can have that system function. The next video we're going to do is related to coupled motion and why it's so important. The curved system creates the ability for the system to have coupled motion. And so you're going to want to watch that video because it's going to clear it up. What is it about? Why is it so important? And why we would want to put this system back together so that it will have that effect. Thank you.